Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 of this swimsuit. I'm sorry it took so long. I have been so broken from the loss of a relative that really meant so much to me. It's been over 3 months, and I think it also got hard for me to pick myself up from where I was. But here I am, back again. This is how your work should look like from my part 1. All right, this is how it looks like. Now I have counted all the gaps that I have on my second last row. Yeah, I've counted all the gaps, and I want to get the center of the front. So what I do is I count, because I'm counting both front and back, just to get the total number of gaps that I have here. And then I am going to, since my work is laid flat, when I pass my fingers through both holes, front and back, I have 10 on this side. Okay, that's like the 10th, and this is the 12th. Then I count also 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means these two are like the center. The other one is the center back. This is the center front. So that's what you do for whichever size you're working for. Just try to do that so that we just get the center of the front and the center of the back, and we mark both. But mostly I really need the center of the front. Now, since I have the center of the front, I'm just going to get a stitch marker and just mark that gap. Okay, this is just going to help me spare a few stitches for my front, so that this open shell stitch design can go to the front of the bust, just like you see in the picture here how the swimsuit looks like. So this is just to help me spare, or spare those stitches for that open stitch design for the front that is going to be at the cleavage area. So that's my center back, and this is my center front. I don't really need the center back yet, but I mostly need my center front. All right. So now that we have, now that we have marked the center front, now by marking the center front I mean that you mark the third stitch, because the third stitch is like the center of that open shell. Okay. The third stitch of that open shell is what you mark, and then we are going to count six stitches towards the left. That means we get to the center of the next open shell right there. You see how it looks like? Now insert your hook into the center of this next open shell from the marked open shell that you had. All right. I think it's about 6 stitches. I think it is 6 stitches that we skipped. Yeah, so you get into that stitch and pull through your yarn just like that, and then we are going to chain 1. All right, and work a single crochet into that very same stitch. You see that? Then we are going to yarn over, and we shall skip 2, get into that next stitch, and we are going to work our shell. So we work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. You see that? Those are 2, those are 3, and those are 4, and then we work the 5th. Now at this point we are going to skip 2, and then get into that next stitch and work a single crochet, skip 2, get into the next stitch and work a single crochet, get into the next stitch and work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Just like that. So once we have all 5 double crochets, we are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch. You see what we have? skip 2, get into that next stitch and work 5 double crochets. So basically we are working our shells just like we have been working in part 1. Guys, I'm really so sorry to even say part 1 when I have finished 3 months of you guys waiting for it. I am so sorry to see that I have to make you make that recap like all the time. But I'm going to be slow so that, you know, we pick up from where we left off. So yes, just as usual, to work our shells, we go ahead and work 5 double crochets into that next stitch and then skip 2, work a single crochet into the next stitch. So you're going to go all the way around, just doing that all the way around until you see where we have the marked stitch. Now remember, I just want us to stop at the center of the next marked stitch. Oh, sorry, at the center of the next open shell. So what we do is just put your stitch marker exactly where I have put my hook, because that's where I want your row to end, and that's where I'm going to meet you guys, then show you how to work the next row. So basically we are going to have 2 open shells, half of the left open shell and then the full open shell at the center, then half of the right open shell. All right, so let me meet you guys there. So guys, here we are. This is how my work looks like so far. Okay, I made sure I end my row exactly where I told you guys it should end. So this is what I have. Now guys, here we are. I am going to get started on our next row. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to work 3 chains. The 3 chains are going to act as a stitch. Okay, so we work 3 chains just like that, then turn our work. Now at this point I want to work half a shell, so I'm going to go into that very first stitch and I'm going to work 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Okay, you see that? Now here you're going to skip 2 stitches and get into the next stitch and work a single crochet just like that. Then once again yarn over, skip 2, insert your hook into that next stitch and work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. So you can see that on this next row we have started with half a shell, and then we are going to go ahead and work our full shells all throughout the row until we are left with 3 stitches to end our row. So yes, we work 5 double crochets into this stitch and then we skip 2 and get into that next stitch and work a single crochet just like that. Then we are going to go ahead, yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next stitch. Double crochets into the next stitch right there. Then we skip 2, work a single crochet into the next stitch. So just skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch. So this is what you're just going to do repeatedly, working your shells all the way until you have 3 stitches left to end the row. So I'm going to let you work your shells all the way around until you are right here where you have 3 stitches to end the row after you work this last full shell. That's why I'm going to meet you to show you how to end your row. So here we are, we have 3 stitches to end our row. I have worked my single crochet already and I have finished working all my full shells. So what's left is us working our half a shell. So what we do is yarn over, skip 2 and work 3 double crochets into that last stitch. So those are 2 double crochets and then the 3rd double crochet right there. So that's how you end your row. So we began our row with half a shell and we have ended it with half a shell. Now to work the next row means that we are going to start our row with a full shell, right? Just like we did for the very first row that we worked. So now we are going to chain 1, turn our work, we work 1 single crochet, and we are going to go ahead and skip 2, get into that next stitch and work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Now the good thing about this is it's just a two-step repeat. This is the last time I'm doing these steps for you. I'm going to let you work the next steps on your own, all right? Because it is that simple. You're just going to repeat what we did on the first row and the second row. Once you have your 5 double crochets, you're going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into the next stitch. And this is what you are going to do repeatedly, just like we did on this very first row. How we worked our shells is what you do exactly on this row. And also on the next row, you carry up what we did on the second row, starting with half a shell. And you do that for the next 3 rows. I want us to have a total of 5 rows, so that our last row is the row where we have full shells, okay? This is how your work should look like after all those rows have been done. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you should have 5 rows, and your last row should be the row where we have full shells, all right? Now we are going to count all the 4 shells that we have on our row, on our last row, all right? Just count all the full shells all the way around, because now I want to find the center of my back. That's the point of me doing this. I want to find the center of my back. Now you get the total number of shells that you have and divide it by 2, so that we mark the center of our back. As we are starting now, we are going to be starting to work to split the back, to create that V, just like you see in this picture right here. That V at the back is exactly what we are now securing stitches for, all right? I have a total of 20 full shells. So if I divide 20 by 2, I am going to get 10. When I count 10 shells from my left towards my right, and I mark the 10th shell, then I also count 10 shells from my right towards my left and mark the 10th shell. That means these 2 shells are like the center of my back. Now how do I find the center point? That means I'm going to mark the center of this shell and the center of this shell, all right? That's what I'm going to mark. So because I already know what I am doing, you need to mark, you yourself, you need to mark the center of those 2 shells at the back. But because I already know what I am doing and how my stitch pattern runs, I'm just now going to insert my hook into the center stitch of this one shell, because now I want to work my right breast cap. So I'm just going to insert my hook in there. The center of the shell is like the 3rd stitch of the 5 double crochets that we worked for that shell. So I've marked it, and then I'm also going to mark that next shell. So that means this shell towards the right is going to work my left breast cap, and then this shell towards the left is going to mark my left breast cap, vice versa. Yeah. So yes, that's going to be my starting point, my ending point. So I'm going to get back to where I stopped or ended my row, and now I am going to work towards that marked stitch, all right? So to get started, I am going to chain 3, and the 3 chains act as a double crochet stitch. So I'm going to get into this very first stitch and work 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch right there. So that means we have started with half a shell, okay? We skip 2 and get into that next. We skip 2 and get into that next stitch and work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch. So that means we are now proceeding with working our shells in the manner that we have been working them previously. Okay, so just work your shells just like that. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and work your shells the way we have been doing until the marked stitch, okay? Until that marked stitch right there where I have put my, my strand of yarn. So here you skip 2, get into the next stitch and work 5 double crochets into that very same stitch, and then skip 2, work 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So this you're going to do working your shells until the marked stitch, and that's where I'm going to meet you guys to show you what to do. I really don't want this part to be as lengthy as the first part was, because with the first part I was doing so much explaining so you guys can cope with the shell stitch. But now I feel like you guys are well conversant with it, and I'm not going to really do so much explaining. Just work your shells all the way until the end of the row, and I'm going to meet you at the marked stitch and show you what to do. Here we are. This is how my work looks like so far. I have come to the end of my row, and I am right here where I had put my strand of yarn to mark that stitch. So this is what I have so far. Now I am going to get started on working my next row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. Now I'm going to work 3 slip stitches into the next 3 stitches. Okay, so I work that slip stitch. The point of me doing this is to find my way back to the center of that first shell, because now here it means I am working a decrease. Okay, if I were not working a decrease, I would start with half a shell, but finding my way back to the center of that very first shell is me working a decrease, because I'm going to lose the first 2 stitches and start my work from the third stitch. So what happens is you work a single crochet and you work you chain 1 and work a single crochet into that very same slip stitch, the third slip stitch that you worked, and then you're going to skip 2 and work 5 double crochets into that next stitch, and then skip 2, work a single crochet into the next stitch. So you can see there is some bit of decrease. As our rows keep going forward, you will get to see you know, a recognizable decrease, but so far even with just row 1 you can tell that there is a bit of decrease. So I'm going to take out my stitch marker, my acting stitch marker, and I'm going to, you see that third what's it called, the third slip stitch where we have started our row is where I'm going to put my stitch marker now. This is going to help me understand where this row started from, so that I know where to stop working to spare stitches for my decrease to keep going on. Okay, so just do the very same thing. Mark the first stitch that has started this row. All right, so here, once I'm ready to proceed with my work, I'm going to skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next stitch, and then skip 2, work a single crochet into that next stitch, right? So I'm going to let you work your shells all the way until the end of the row. Like you can see, when you get here, you will work 5 double crochets into that, then skip 2, work a single crochet into the very last stitch. The last stitch is like the third chain stitch of the 3 chains that started the previous row. Okay, this is how your work should look like. All right, now to work our next row, I'm going to have to chain 3 and then turn my work. All right, the 3 chains act as a double crochet stitch. Now here we are. After you have worked your 3 chains, you're going to turn your work into this very first stitch. You're going to work 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch, and then you are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch, yarn over, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into that next stitch. So you can see that we have started with half a shell, and then we are going to be proceeding with full shells. Now whenever we have half a shell on this row and then full shells on the next, that means we are working a straight line but with the shell stitch. No decreases whatsoever, no increments whatsoever. Now to work the decreases is where we do not work the last 2 stitches. Okay, That's how we get the decrease. Honestly, this is one stitch pattern where you get to learn how to decrease with the shell stitch and also increase with the shell stitch, and also work in a straight row with that, in a straight line with the shell stitch. So it is so much that you're picking from just one tutorial. So here we are going to we are going to continue working our shells all the way until the end of the row, just working a single crochet into the next stitch, skip 2, work 5 double crochets into the next stitch, and then skip 2, work 1 single crochet into the next stitch. This you're going to do until you have 2 stitches to end the row. Remember, we marked where we started our previous row. So work your shells until you have 2 stitches to end the row. That's where I'm going to meet you and show you what to do. Okay, just go ahead skipping 2, working 5 double crochets into the next stitch, skipping 2, working a single crochet into the next stitch. All right, and do this all the way, and I'm going to meet you once you have 3 stitches to end the row. Yeah, that's why I'm going to meet you guys right there and show you what to do. Now here I am almost at the end of my row. As you can see, I'm going to skip 2 and work 5 double crochets into this next stitch. You see where my stitch marker is, guys. This is where I need you guys to be attentive, because I'm working a decrease once again. So here we are going to work our 5 double crochets into that stitch. And once we have all 5 double crochets, what we are going to do next is we are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that stitch. So we are going to leave those last stitches unworked because we want that decrease. But right now, you can already tell that you see a decrease, which is going to like create that, you know, deep V at the back on the other side. But because this cleavage, I have wanted to keep a straight cleavage, but right now I am going to start working a decrease on both sides, at the end of the row and also at the beginning of the row, because I'm confident that this number of rows that I have right now are just enough for you know, the cleavage bit that I wanted to keep straight. All right, so now at this point I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work, and work 3 slip stitches into the next 3 stitches. Okay, I have not started my work with a single crochet, but I advise you guys start your work with a single crochet. So you will chain one and work a single crochet into that third stitch where you worked your third slip stitch, right? Once you work that single crochet, you are going to skip 2 and work 5 double crochets into the next stitch. The reason as to why I'm not working that single crochet to begin with is there is a way it creates those little holes, and I don't want those little holes there. That's why I am intentionally not working that single crochet. So if you want a result like mine, you can intend not to work that single crochet, but rather just work your 3 slip stitches and get your stitch marker, mark the stitch where you worked your third slip stitch, because it's the one that starts our row, just like we have been doing. Then yarn over and just skip to work your 5 double crochets into the next stitch without working a single crochet. Okay, so you are going to now work your 3 shells. I hope I have explained that really well. The people who have tried to work that single crochet when starting the row, you will see that it creates as small holes, that small hole, but I don't want it there. That's why I'm really intending not to work the single crochet. So you can either do what I am saying or do what I am doing. Either way, you'll get a result just as good. So I'm going to let you guys work your shells until right there. All right, then I'm going to get back and show you how to work that next row. Okay, work your shells until right there. So guys, here we are at the end of our row right there. I have worked all my shells, so what's left for me is I'm going to chain 1, turn my work. Like I said, I now intend to have a decrease on both ends. So what I'm going to do is once I turn my work, I chain 1, sorry, and turn my work, I'm going to work 3 slip stitches into the next 3 stitches. Guys, remember, it's up to you to work a single crochet to start this row or not to work it, but I honestly advise that you do not work it. So like you can see, I'm going to yarn over, skip 2 and work my 5 double crochets into that next stitch. So work your 5 double crochets right there. Just work your 5 double crochets into that very same stitch all the way. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. Once you have all 5 double crochets, you are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into that next stitch. So I'm just going to work 1 or 2 rows like this, and then let you guys work the rest of the rows on your own. So what you do is you get your stitch marker and mark that stitch where we started this row from, because remember guys, I don't want you to forget where to stop working your stitches so that you have that decrease just because you failed to mark the first stitch that started the row. It just helps you quickly identify where to stop working your shells. So here you're going to work your 5 double crochets. Once you have all 5 double crochets, you will skip 2 and work a single crochet into the next stitch. So you can see we are having a decrease on both the end where we start the row and the end where we end the row. So now just getting my acting stitch marker and placing it into the stitch that started this row so I don't lose count of where I started my row from. So I'm going to let you guys work your shells all the way. I'm going to let you guys work your shells all the way until you have 3 stitches to end the row. Remember, work until right. When you work your 5 double crochets here, you will work a single crochet in here. So that means we leave these last stitches unworked to have our decrease. All right. So I'm going to meet you right there once you work that and just show you what to do. So here we are. I didn't end my row because I just wanted you guys to see clearly what I'm saying. After you work your 5 double crochets, you are going to skip 2 and then work a single crochet into that last stitch. So we leave those stitches unworked, okay, and then we chain 1, turn our work. So here we are just going to repeat what we have been doing for our decreases. When you chain 1, turn your work, you work 3 slip stitches into the next 3 stitches, and then resume working your shells just like we have been doing. So also this side, because we want a decrease on this side as well, we are going to do the very same thing. We shall leave the last 2 stitches unworked. So let me just show you for this row alone, and then I'll let you work your decreases until you have just one shell on your row. So here we chain 1, turn our work, we work 3 slip stitches into the next 3 stitches, yarn over, skip 2, and work 5 double crochets into the next stitch. You work 5 double crochets all in that very same stitch, all right there. So once you have all 5 double crochets, you are going to skip 2 and work a single crochet into the next stitch, just like that. You see that? So we get our stitch marker and mark the first stitch that started this row. This is, guys, this is really going to help you, because sometimes if you don't do this, you're going to be confused on where you started your row and where you ended it. Okay, so here you are going to work your you are going to work your shells all the way, just like we have been doing, until right there where you work your 5 double crochets, then skip 2, work a single crochet into that stitch. So that means that we also leave those last 2 stitches unworked. So we are just going to keep doing this, having a decrease at the start and at the end of the row. Even the next stitch, you start with 3 slip stitches, work your shells, and then leave these last stitches unworked right there. Then, you know, again, chain 1, turn your work 3 slip stitches. This you do until you have 1 shell on your row. That's why I'm going to meet you guys. So guys, I'm so sorry, but I did this, okay? Now, I'm just going to explain what I have done to my project so that you guys can catch up with where I am. I left you guys at the point where I had told you that you should work your decrease until you have 1 shell on your row. Now, I went ahead to do the very same thing that I had done on the other side, and then I also did it for my other side. So that is how I get to where I am right now. Okay. I remember we were at the point of working a decrease on both sides. So I went through exactly what I had told you guys to do. If you remember, we had a decrease. This side, it was a continuous decrease. And then it got me to having this 1 shell at the top of my work. And this side, we started working the decrease after a few rows of having this straight straight pattern right there until that point. So if you remember, I think it was about 4 rows. I don't really recall. Yeah, it must have been at, around 4 rows before we started having the decrease on both sides, this side and then also on the other side, like when starting and ending the row. So for everything that I did on the other side, I did on this side as well, and that's how I get myself to this point and having my work look like this. So for where you stopped, just copy and paste what you did on the left side, which should be your left breast, your left breast cup, and coverage for all of that, and do it on the right side as well. Please just copy and paste. I hope this is not the point that I lose you or you get confused, because I have now just tried to explain this in my power. This is a project I have worked on and off. At some point I lost morale, but I felt like it would be an injustice to you guys if I do not finish something I started. So I hope I have not lost you at this point. But yes, copy and paste what you did on the left side and paste it onto the right side so that you get to where I am. Now, once you get to where I am, what is left is us working our straps and also working the coverage for the cleavage, like mid, the center of our cleavage. Now what we are going to do at this point for our straps, I'm going to have you guys chain 100 or any number that is divisible by 4. Okay, you can work less or more given how long you want your straps to be. I worked 100, and I know it can like be enough length for straps even if you have a size large, but anyway, clearly that's really up to you. So I'm going to let you guys work your chains until you come to the end of the number of chains I have told you guys to work. Then I'll meet you guys there, then show you what to do. Now once I have my chains complete, I'm going to get my yarn. And remember, I told you guys to have one shell stitch at the top of your work, like decrease until you have one shell stitch. Now for me, what I'm going to do at this point is I am going to work, I was literally just adding a couple of chains. So what I am going to do is I'm going to, that one shell stitch that ended your project right there, I'm going to get into the third double crochet of that shell stitch. Okay, the third double crochet of that shell stitch, because the third double crochet is what it is, the peak of that shell. Okay, so I'm going to get in there and work a single crochet to attach my string which I just worked onto our project. And then from here I am going to work I'm going to chain 3 and then get into the bottom of that shell. So that means I am skipping 2 and working into the single crochet stitch, okay, that started that shell stitch, that shell. Chain 3 and get into we chain 3 and then get into, I'm just trying to make sure you guys can see this because I'm working with a very weird color which is red. So I'm going to chain 3 and skip 2, get into the bottom of that next shell and work my single crochet, then chain 3, skip 2, get into, there is usually that single crochet that either started the next row of the shell and all that, into that single crochet is exactly where we are going to keep working our single crochets for this. Okay, so we chain 3 and skip 2. Usually we are skipping 2 slip stitches or 2 stitches, but yes, you get into that, the bottom of that shell, the next shell, and you work a single crochet in there. So you chain 3, as you can see now I'm skipping the slip stitches and getting into that bottom of that shell. It's usually that single crochet that started the next row that we are working into that. So we chain 3, skip 2, get into, you see, basically just work into the bottom of the next shell. Like, it's just so visible. I don't know how to explain, but it's just so visible. Like you can see here, we are working right there. Okay, so you work your single crochet in there. Okay, you see what it looks like so far. And then we chain 3, and once again you just keep working right there. You can see it's so easy to see. Now my intention is to get to the corner because that's where I want to show you guys how to get through with the corners. Now when you get to the corner, which is right there, because that's now where we have to put our, when you get to the corner you work your single crochet right there. See what we have? And then here we are going to chain 3 and work another single crochet into that very same spot, so that's how you maneuver the corner. Here into that very same spot is exactly where we work our single crochet. Now like you can see, I am now working on the straight edge that is at the center of our cleavage. So we chain 3 and we get into the single crochet post which is after that double crochet right there. So you work your single crochet and then you chain 3. You'll skip that next double crochet post and get into the single crochet right there, and then you work a single crochet, chain 3. You skip that next double crochet post and get into the single crochet post. You work your single crochet, then you chain 3, skip the double crochet post, get into that single crochet post right there, work your single crochet. Now here we have come to the end of our project. This is to the end of our row, first row of the strap. So now what we do is we are going to work a slip stitch into the next stitch of the stitches that were for our waistband, like you can see right there. So you insert your hook in there and work a slip stitch. This is to help us attach our very first row of the strap onto the waist rows. I don't know how to explain that, but yes, that's how it comes out. So we turn our work, and into the single crochet stitch that we last previously worked is where we work our single crochet, and then into the chain 3 space we are going to work 3 single crochets. Like you can see now, I have turned my work and I am working into the stitches of the previous row. Okay, so once you have your 3 single crochets into the chain gap, you work a single crochet into that next single crochet stitch, and then you work 3 single crochets into the next chain gap, then work a single crochet into that next single crochet stitch, work 3 single crochets into the next chain gap, and then work 1 single crochet into the next single crochet stitch. So this you are going to do repeatedly for every chain gap and every single crochet stitch all the way until I don't know why I keep yawning. I think I'm kind of like tired. Yeah, so you're just going to keep working your single crochets into every chain gap, and then when you get right here at the top of your work right there, you are now going to work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until the end of your strap right there. So that's where I'll meet you guys, then show you what to do. So here we are. I have my work look like this, okay, and this is how my strap looks like. So I hope we are on the same page at this point. Now what we are going to do is we are going to chain 6, and once we have all 6 chains, then we are going to 3 of the chains act as a double crochet stitch and then a chain 3. So once we have all 6 chains, okay, we turn our work, and then we are going to skip 3. All right, remember 3 of the chains act as a stitch, so we skip 3 and get into what could be the 5th stitch. Okay, and in there we work a single crochet just like that. So we chain 3 and skip 3, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that stitch, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that stitch, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that stitch, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into the next stitch. So this you are going to do repeatedly all the way until you are about 2 stitches to get to the body, or to the body of your to almost the body of your swimsuit or to almost the very first arcade stitch or shell. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, 2 stitches to almost the chain gap, the first chain gap that you worked on the body of your swimsuit. So do this all the way until right there. Let me just show you. Until you are almost 2 stitches to this. Okay, so you should be around there. So here we are, and this is how my work looks like so far. Now what I'll do is I'm going to chain 3 just like we have been doing. You see that my strap is complete with the chain gaps. So at this point I'm just going to chain 3. Yeah, I will chain 3 right there. And then skip 3. Get into that next stitch and work a single crochet. You will find that we are working almost in what could be the center of that next chain gap, which is exactly what I was aiming for. So we chain 3, skip 3, get into the next stitch and work a single crochet. Okay, this is the very same pattern we used when working the waistband. So yes, chain 3, skip 3, get into that and work a single crochet. Now what I'm doing here is what you're going to do for the next rows, 2 rows. Yeah, so please be very attentive. So yes, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into the next stitch, and this you're going to do until you are almost at the corner of your work. That's where I'm going to meet you. Let me just work this with you guys. Chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that next stitch. You see how it looks like, you see how it comes out. So chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that next right there. Chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that next stitch right there. And now you can see that we are almost at the corner. So here we are going to chain 3, skip 3, get into that next stitch, which is right at the corner, and work our single crochet. And then once we have that, we shall chain 3 and work a single crochet into that very same spot once again. Okay, so that's how we create our corner. All right. Now from here, I'm just going to do exactly what I have been doing. We chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into the next stitch. Right there, you work your single crochet. Chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that next stitch. Right there. Chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet in the next stitch. Right there. Chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into the next stitch. Right there. So then to end our row, we shall chain 1 and skip the next stitch. I ended up chaining 2, but even when you chain 1, it's all okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to work a slip stitch into the next stitch on our waistband right there. Okay, so that's how we attach this onto the waistband. Then we work another slip stitch into that next stitch on the waistband. Then here we shall turn our work. And now we are going to do exactly what we did for the other row, which was the second row of our strap. Here we are going to work one single crochet into the chain gap that we worked. Okay, you can work one single crochet if you chained one. If you chained two like I did, you can work two single crochets into the chain gap, then work a single crochet into the next single crochet stitch. Then after this, you're going to work 3 single crochets into the next chain 3 gap. And then you will work a single crochet into that next chain gap. And then you work 3 single crochets into the next chain gap. And then 1 single crochet into the next single crochet stitch. Three single crochets into the next chain gap. So this you are going to do, honestly, now at this point you know what to do. You know what to do. This you are going to do all the way until you come to the end of your strap. You just keep working 3 single crochets into every chain 3 gap, and then 1 single crochet into the next single crochet stitch. This you will do all the way up your cleavage and then to the strap, all the way up the strap until the end of your strap, just doing this. So the next row I will work part of it with you guys, then just explain to you what you have to do so that you come to the end of it. Now let me let you guys work this until you come to the end of it, and I'll meet you guys there, then show you what to do. So the sun was kind of bright at this point and also creating a shadow on one side of my table, but I hope it's still going to be visible for you guys to really see what I am doing so that we don't lose track on each other. So at this point, this is what I have. This is how my work looks like so far. So I'm just going to show you just a bit of what you have to do for the next row so that we get to the end of it. Now you see that I've been having these chain gaps and then working single crochets over them. Now my purpose for showing you what to do here, because it's not any different, it's just to show you how to start this next row. Now on this row we are going to chain 6. 3 of the chains act as a double crochet stitch, but what I'm going to do now is I am going to skip 1 and then get into the next stitch, which would be the 3rd stitch, and in there I'm going to work a single crochet. Then I'll chain 3, skip 3 and work a single crochet into the next stitch, chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into the next stitch. So this is just to alternate my stitches so that this time I am working into the top of the previous chain gap of the previous rows. So we chain 3, skip 3, work a single crochet into that next stitch, like you can see. Oh god, I don't know if you see that, but yes, just keep doing this all the way until you get to the corner. When you get to the corner, you already know what to do. You chain 3, work a single crochet into that stitch, and then chain 3, work a single crochet into that very same stitch. So do this until right here, and then work a slip stitch into that stitch on the waistband, and then work another slip stitch into that stitch on the waistband, and then continue your single crochets into all the chain gaps. Now everything we have done for this strap is exactly what you paste onto this other side and work your strap as well. I'm just going to get back to show you how to work the finishing touches on the back of our work and the strap, then we can get to the end of our tutorial. Here we are. I have worked my strap on the other side, and also I have worked I have completed my other straps. So this is how your work should look like, guys. I have really tried to compress this so that we get everything clearly and also not have a lengthy tutorial. But yes, we are almost in an hour, and also the part one was like almost an hour. So yes, back to the work. Here we are. What I am left to do is to stitch together this cleavage area right here. I have run out of red yarn, so I'm going to be using my pink yarn to stitch this together. I know it will not show, so I'm just going to turn this in out and then get my yarn. If you have a yarn needle, the better. You'll just have to stitch that together very simply. I misplaced mine, so I'm just going to use my hook. Okay, so I'm going to get into the bottom of the stitches. Also, I forgot to mention the midway the cleavage, we have one stitch that will be unworked, but don't worry about it. It will not affect the way we join our cleave area. Like yes, it won't affect it, and it will also not show. Okay, so here I will now start working a single crochets into both a single crochet into both single crochets on both sides to stitch them together. So yes, just work your single crochets all the way until up at the corner of our cleavage. That's where I'll meet you guys. Once you get to the corner, you will then cut your yarn and weave in your ends. Then I'm going to get back to show you how to work along the back edge, like the edge at the back of our work. Yeah, so let me meet you guys there, then show you what to do. Now that we have finished our front, this is how it should look like. What is left is to work along the back right here. If you have your red yarn or the color that you have used for your bands and the straps, it's exactly what we are going to use right here. But if you don't, because I also don't, I have run out of red yarn, I'm going to use pink yarn. And yeah, it ended up giving me a good result as well. So yes, I'm just going to be working along this. So what we are going to do is you are going to insert your hook into the very first stitch on the opposite side of your foundation chains for the straps. Okay, so insert your hook in there and pull through yarn, then pull through a loop and chain one. Work one single crochet into that very first stitch, and then you're going to keep working one single crochet into every stitch all the way. Work one single crochet into every stitch, guys. Just work one single crochet. Work one single crochet into every stitch all the way until you get to the body of your swimsuit. Okay, so just do this all the way to the end of your strap until the body of your swimsuit. That's where I'm going to meet you guys, then show you what to do. So now once you get to once you get to the end of your row, your strap, sorry, we are now going to work one single crochet into that very first stitch on our swimsuit, one single crochet into the next stitch, one single crochet into the next. It is just so visible. And then now what we do is we work into that single crochet post right there. Now, like you can see, these were slip stitches, so there were two of them, so I'm going to work two single crochets. You just find your way into them and you work your single crochets. Then after, you work into that single crochet that started the next row. Then you work into those next two stitches right there for that shell. Basically we are having 3 stitches for every shell, okay, just like that, and then into that single crochet post. You see what we have? This girl is sleeping and making noise, so I'm sorry about that. Now we just keep working our single crochets. Honestly, I don't know how to explain where and how, what, but it just seems so visible where you need to put your next single crochet stitch. Yeah, so that's how you are going to work along this edge, all the way down and then all the way up to the other side. And then you do exactly what we have done on the other side. You will work 1 single crochet into every stitch on the opposite side of the foundation chains of your other strap until you come to the end of it, and then you'll cut your yarn, weave in your ends, and that will clearly mark the end of our swimsuit tutorial. I am so glad I came to the end of this tutorial because I felt like I have not completed a project and kept you guys hanging for the longest time ever. For what I have gone through for the past 3-4 months and not finished this project, I am glad that I am back and finally finished what I started. So just do this all the way until the end like I explained, and then your swimsuit should come out like this, guys. This is so beautiful. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. Like, this is look at the back, guys, look at the back. God, thank you so much guys for watching. Let me see you all in the next tutorial, and goodbye.